just going to leave this plugged in here, okay?
Nice.
It's plugged in. It's ready to go. So we have this. If I had some headphones on me, you could take a listen to this and just confirm that it recorded. But then the next step is to export this, and it works very, very similar to the way it works in
Audacity.
Reason, or not so much Audacity.
Okay.
That does it offline. It does
Okay.
it, this does it in real time.
Got you.
Okay? So when I say bounce to disk, and I bounce it as an AIF file, and I choose all my settings, it's actually going to play in real time. Like, so if we have a 45-second long recording, it takes 45 seconds plus a couple seconds for processing on each end
Okay.
to export the sound. Now you can do it offline, but the default way that this does it is going to be in real time. So if, 5-minute long song, 5 minutes to bounce. Okay? The way we do that is you just go to File, Bounce to Disk. Oh. And it said that you can't bounce it if it's record enabled. So I disabled the recording. I'm going to go back and say File, Bounce to Disk. Okay?
Where did you disable the recording?
On the mixing window.
Okay, cool. All right.
So the mixing window is where you do your inputs and outputs, your inserts and sends, like sound effects and things like that, effects processors.
Okay.
And it also controls like which microphone you're using, things like that. Pan, volume, solo, mute, record enable.
Wait,
All right.
Wait a minute. There are 2 computers here, and they're both on.
Yeah.
No, there's just 2 monitors. Right?
There's 2 monitors and 1 computer. In this case, it's advantageous because you have your editing window on the left and your mixing window over here on the right.
Nice.
That'll help.
So it really helps. Like right now, it doesn't really matter because we have 2 channels. You can do that all conveniently on one screen. But when you start venturing off into like, oh, I have 20, 30 tracks, then you want that extra room. And if you're getting into some very specific like editing stuff, like James was talking about earlier, not having a big enough editing window, well, guess what? In this one, you have the whole screen for the editing window, which is really helpful. You can zoom right in and edit the sound. So I'm gonna export this sound, bounce it to disk. I'm gonna do it as an AIFF file, and there are 3 options here in terms of where it says format. And this is really important, and I want you guys to know this. So you have mono, multiple mono, and interleaved. What's the difference between the 3? Somebody who's maybe had some experience with this audio stuff.
Is that for like coming out of one speaker or like multiple speakers?
The same.
Sort of.
the
Okay,
same.
so I'll explain it.
Okay.
If you export a sound as a mono sound, it's going to take both the left and right channels and it's going to sum them to one channel. And it's going to play back as a mono sound. There's not going to be any variation from what comes out of the left speaker or the right speaker, or if you're just using a single speaker, it's all going to sound the same. All the levels, everything's going to sound the same. Multiple mono means that it's going to bounce the left and right channel separately. Okay, so you're going to have a left channel and a right channel sound file separately.
Kind of like how the painting does little high, little low, and comes out of the speaker.
Maybe.
That would be panorama.
Isn't that panorama? Yeah, panning.
Yeah, that would be panic. That's panorama.
And then the third format is called interleaved. Okay? And in general, that's the kind of file that we're going to be using. Okay? Now, it's not always that we're going to be using that. Sometimes we're going to want a mono file. For example, if you're making sounds for a game in Unity and you want to decrease the amount of memory that your sounds are using or something like that, you could decrease the resolution of it. You can make it a mono audio file as opposed to a stereo audio file. Okay? Interleaved means that it's taking both channels and encoding them into a single stereo audio file. So when you play that back, it's going to have a unique left and right stereo image preserved from the recording here. So I'm gonna say interleaved. 16-bit, 44.1. That looks good to me. There's two options here: convert during bounce or convert after bounce. I'll say convert after bounce. And there's also three options here. One is import the sound after you bounce it, so you can actually bounce the sound and then import it right back into your project to use in something else. And the other one's share with SoundCloud, which is a new one for the Pro Tools 10 I haven't seen before. That's kind of neat. You can like bounce it, boom, share it to SoundCloud as soon as you bounce it. I'm not gonna share it to SoundCloud because this is just a random thing of me talking. And yeah, it's gonna do 33 seconds and it's exporting, bouncing it to disk. And that's all you're required to do for next week. Any questions about Pro Tools? Concerns? Okay.
You said this session's already set up, so
The
those.
session is already set up. It's in a folder called
It's in a folder.
One of those.
and it's called something.
What that something may be.
It's
on
called
the
Game 250. Use this folder,
Nice. Okay. All right.
That's specific.
and it's all in caps.
Okay.
And oops, that was just asinine. Is there a way to color label these?
No, this isn't Mac.
Not in Windows.
God.
I have to use
You
words.
just drag
I mean,
it
it is
there.
one of the
You have to use
softwares,
words.
you know, it's every single file. That would make everything so much easier. It's gotta be invented by like some
You
Linux
could
like
get
indie
rid of
people.
the auto arrange and then you can just drag it to the other side.
Oh,
I'll let you guys find it.
It's
It's more fun that way.
That's part of your project. Find the folder.
Game 250, use this folder. It's at the bottom right of all those folders there, and you can just you just open up the voiceover session file here. Confirm that you're using the M box for the input output. Plug your headphones in. Plug the mic in. Record it. Bounce it to disk. Go like this, and go home.
Nice.
Easy enough.
Headphones plug in here, just like the microphone, okay?
Oh.
So you guys can stick around and take a look at it if you want.